friends, and welcome to a very special episode of French Fried Trains. Today, we're going to be taking a look back at all of our greatest catches from 2021. We're going to see many awesome different locomotives and even a steam engine. We won't be watching entire trains, just the locomotives. So sit back, relax, and make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to see all the great catches. This footage of the FRA train is actually from 2020, but I needed something for the intro here, so why not start it with something awesome? It was New Year's 2021, and we were in our old stomping grounds in Carlisle, Ohio, to catch a southbound manifest train. Double SD40-3s at track speed. Here we see one of the cleanest YN2s I've seen in a while on a 5-unit lash-up. Later that week, we'd catch the CSX Loco shoving back into Needmore Yard with their chassis system caboose shoving platform leading the way. A Jeep 40-3 provides power. The next week, we'd catch this pair of EMDs, the leader running long hood forward. Another day that week, and we catch this big Norfolk Southern lash-up with a GP33 Eco and its slug in the mix. Right after that, this train would come up the CSX line with an SD40-2 leading. And right on his heels, this Autorack train would come north with dual YN2s. next week and we catch another train with an SD42 leading. Later that day, we'd have a bit of foreign power, with 3 Union Pacific locomotives leading this NS train. Another awesome catch here with an SD70 Mac in the lead. A nice sunny January day. We have a YN2 in the mix and an SD40-2. And another train with double SD40-2. Another day, we'd catch this ballast tamper going by. Followed by a ballast regulator. Another awesome catch with an SD40-2 leading and an SD50-3 trailing. And we have yet another train led by dual SD40-2s. It was getting towards the end of January, and we'd catch this southbound with a flared radiator, SD70 Mac leading, and 2 YN2s behind it. that same week, we'd catch this one with a CM44AC rebuild leading. Later that day, we would look out here and catch the CSX geometry train. It was the last day of January on a snowy morning, and we catch this southbound with an SD50-3 leading. After that, another southbound would follow with an SD70 Mac in the lash-up. Nothing spectacular about the engines here, but check out this old chassis system covered hopper. And the same train would have a second one in the mix. It was now February on a snowy morning, and we catch this 4-unit lash-up with a flared radiator SD70 Mac trailing. Later, a northbound would come through the snow with an SD40-2 on point. We ended up being on the wrong side of the tracks for this, but there's a southbound with EMD power on the other track behind it. The train on the other side had a continuous rail train on the front of it. You can just see the top of the loader here. And one last nice surprise in this video, a chassis system covered hopper brings up the rear. One of my favorite freight cars. on that same day, we'd have a bit of foreign power here with a Canadian Pacific locomotive. A sunny winter morning, and we'd catch this train with an SD50-3 trailer. And check out this Squaw Creek gondola. Later that morning, we'd be sitting by and watching as a full-size intermodal train was switching out cars at Needmore Yard. I'm not including all that footage here because there's already a whole video about it on my channel. But here we see the entire full-size train backing up into the yard. Later, we'd have one of my favorite Railfan moments of the year. The train on the right is dropping off the conductor for the train on the left. And moments after this, we would end up having a train race on our hands. The auto-rack train on the right would come out first. Just a single locomotive on the head end here. He would stay at this slow speed the entire time he passed. He would also have a rear end DPU. But if you look here, the second train on the other track has also started moving. Two trains racing in the same direction here. I'm actually unsure why that auto rack train went first, because he would end up stopping a few blocks south of me and allowing the intermodal train to overtake. And here you can see the intermodal train is overtaking him. The intermodal train was huge and also included a DPU. Later that day, this train would come by with a GP40-2 trailer. And we would catch this southbound with the Spirit of Dante leading. And later that day, another YN2 unit, trailing smoke. And check out these orange CSX ballast hoppers. It was the second week of February, and we had gotten a bunch of snow, as this train, with dual SD40-3, leads on a cold winter morning. And another train that same morning on the other track with double SD40-3s. It's now mid-February, and we'd catch this southbound, accelerating out of Needmore Yard with more EMD power. Later that week, the sun's out, but the snow's still there, and we'd catch this southbound coal train. There would also be a rear-end DPU here, an ET44AH. A freezing cold Saturday morning, and we catch a bit of foreign power with a Canadian National Anniversary unit in the lead. Later that morning, this train would come north with dual EMDs. Another gloomy winter day, and we have a flared radiator SD70 Mac trailing. And here we get a little horn salute from the engineer as a pair of SD43s lead. Now it's the end of February and the snow is gone, and we catch another pair of VMDs. Later that day, we'd have this awesome lash up with a pair of Jeeps. The middle one, a GP39-2. It's the 1st of March now, and we catch this train, led by a pair of VMDs, accelerating from a dead stop. Later that week, we'd catch this autorack train with a single locomotive on the head end. And check that out, not one, but 2 rear end DPUs on this one. A CM44 AC rebuild leads this southbound ore train. There'd also be a mid-train DPU here. Later we would catch this one with the Spirit of Ravenna trailing. Later, we'd catch this one with an SD40-3 leading and a Jeep 40-2 trailing. The next day, we would catch the local job running Long Hood forward. And here we'd see some foreign power with a Canadian National unit in the mix. Now it's a mid-March Saturday morning, and we're at the park in Vandalia, Ohio, where we already watched a very slow-moving train come in to stop, and this one came to pass it on the main line. Later that same day, we'd catch another train while we were still at the park. This one had an empty continuous rail train on the tail end here. A few days later, we catch this train right at sunrise. It's the last Saturday in March, and we're back at the Vandalia Park to catch this awesome lash-up. Check out the trailing Jeep on that one. A tiny fuel tank and no dynamic brakes. An awesome catch. And another train caught right at sunrise with an SD40-2 leading. It's the beginning of April now, and we make it here just in time to catch this special train with double KCS units and all military equipment on flatbeds. This train seemed to go on and on and on, with plenty of all different types of military trucks on it. Right after that train passed, this train would come down on the other track with one of CSX's SD70 AH Tier 4s. Early April weekday morning, and we would catch this train with a YN2 leader. Another early spring day, and we'd catch that same Jeep that has no dynamic brakes and a tiny fuel tank. The sun was in just the right spot when we caught this one with a YN2 liter and an SD70 Max. After that train, we'd catch this Tamper. Followed by a ballast regulator. And another piece of MOW equipment. I'm not sure what this one does. It's a mid-April weekend morning, and we catch this lash up with a Huron and Eastern GP38 in the mix. Later, we get some more foreign power with a Canadian Pacific unit in the lead. Late April weekday morning, and we catch this train with a CM40-8 leading. This train is led by an SD70 AH Tier 4 and CSX number 1, the Spirit of West Virginia. Sunny morning in early May, and we'd have perfect lighting to catch these dual YN2 AC44 CWs. a gloomy day and we'd catch this 4-unit lash up with a road slug in the mix. It's a mid-May morning, and we have a CM44 AC leading a northbound. Another weekday morning, and we have a 4-unit lash up with a YN2 liter, an SD70 mat, and a pair of Jeeps. And now it's June in the full summer heat, as we catch this lash up with another SD70 mat. Later that week, we'd see this YN2 unit with an upside-down panel. It's Father's Day 2021, and we'd be at the park in Trenton, Ohio to catch this train. Later that same day, we'd be in Carlisle, Ohio at our old stomping grounds and get a nice little horn salute from the engineer of this intermodal train. After that, we'd catch this one with an SD40-2 leading. The next week, we'd be back in Dayton to catch an SD70 Mac leader. And dual YN2s in the bright summer sun. Later, another YN2 leader. It was now July, and we'd be down by the bridge over the Great Miami River in downtown Dayton to catch this Norfolk Southern train with an SD70 ACC leading. we see the Norfolk Southern local job with a GP60 for power. Later, the same unit would head back the other way, long hood forward. It was now mid-July, and we'd catch this epic Norfolk Southern lash-up with a high hood GP38 in the mix. A hot summer morning, and we catch this Sperry truck coming down across the bridge. And later, Norfolk Southern 4003, a DC to AC black bonnet, will lead this train across the river. Another hot day, and we catch this CSX southbound with a -9 trailing. This next one was a special catch that we'd end up waiting all day for. The CSX geometry train, led by a GP40 WH2 and an F40 PH, an awesome catch. It was nearing the end of July, and we get a short horn salute from this Norfolk Southern train. Later that day, we'd catch this CSX train with ex-Southern Pacific units. An awesome surprise, and not one I ever expected to see around here. right after that, this Lorem ballast cleaner would go by. And still that same day, we'd catch this train with an SD50-3. Later that week, we'd catch this train and get an epic horn salute. And another horn salute from the next train that came by. Another day, we'd get a horn salute from the engineer of this train, with a -8 leading the train, long hood forward across the bridge. A hot July afternoon, and we catch the Spirit of Cincinnati leading across the bridge. It's now August, and we'd be in Lebanon, Ohio for the summer steam train event to catch Lehigh Valley Coal number 126, an 060 saddle tank engine. We would chase it around and catch it multiple times that day. And we got plenty more footage of this engine that day. So if you want to see more of this steam locomotive, check out my video from that day, which I'll have linked in the description. A gloomy August afternoon, and we get a short little horn salute from this northbound train led by triple EMDs. Another day that week, and we catch this Norfolk Southern locomotive running all alone light power. It's mid-August, and we have a 4-unit lash-up coming across the bridge with an SD70 Mac in the mix. Now it's mid-September, and we'd be in Carlisle, Ohio to catch this train, led by dual EMD power. And now it's another day back in Dayton to catch this train, with a Dash 8 leading across the bridge. Another day and another train, this time with an SD50-3 trailer. Now it's mid-October, and we get a short horn salute from the engineer of this Norfolk Southern local train, led by a GP60. It's now mid-November, and we'd catch this train with all Union Pacific foreign power. It also had a mid-train DPU, also a Union Pacific unit. Later that day we'd have some more foreign power, as this southbound tanker train was powered by a Norfolk Southern unit. And a rear-end DPU. An SD70 Ace. We would end up waiting 8 hours to catch this train. Check that out. CSX 3194, the spirit of our law enforcement, leads a northbound intermodal train here. It would also have 2 mid-train DPUs, the second one, a shiny CM44 AC rebuild. It was now December, and we'd be in Lebanon, Ohio, to catch their holiday train, led by a recently restored GP10 painted up in Conrail colors. And even though it was absolutely freezing that day, we would give it chase to catch this engine a couple more times here. And we would catch it at the crossing one final time that day. It was now the last few days of December, and we would end the year with another great catch, as we have a flared radiator SD70 Mac trailer. Well folks, that's all for this special episode of French Fried Trains. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And everyone, have a great week. Stay safe out there, rail fans.